I have been studying the war between Russia and Ukraine for quite some time, and I want to give some ideas. I want to give out some ideas to those that are Ukrainian, Slava Ukraini, by the way. But for those of you who are Ukrainian or perhaps not Ukrainian, but fighting in Ukraine for Ukraine, I hope that this video reaches you because I want to give some advice. I've been very closely observing the war, and I've been deeply studying over the past. It's only been a few days, but I had some rather unique ideas come up with the help of AI, of course, because AI is much more knowledgeable than me and in some ways more intelligent. Um, Certainly not morally, and that's why I got some of these ideas. But I just want to get right into it. The first idea that I came up with help, of course, was by taking nuclear material and using it to create a dirty weapon, a dirty bomb that uses uranium, powdered uranium, and you could use that weapon, let's say in Moscow, and basically completely contaminate all of Moscow with radioactive material. If the weapon or multiple weapons are large enough and powerful enough, and the wind is not around or just right, you could contaminate all of Moscow, forcing Putin out of Moscow, making him much more vulnerable because of course Moscow is a very secure location. And then another option, of course, would be testing a nuclear weapon. Now, I've done a lot of research, and I don't know if Ukraine actually has, any hidden nuclear weapons or not. But a nuclear test would be another great option. I'm sure that's crossed, the Ukrainian leadership's mind a couple times, but that might lead to more issues than bringing solutions, unfortunately. But another idea, and this is a pretty obvious one, but striking the oil refinery facilities, all the oil refinery plants and the oil pipelines are quite out in the open, and they're not very secure. They don't have anti-air or anti-ground defenses really, and a lot of them they're just out in the open. And so with Russia's oil being its main source of income, if you look at statistics, I looked at Russia's GDP. I've looked at all these statistics, and I've been looking at like their precious like minerals, what makes Russia valuable. And from everything that I've seen, Russia has a very large amount of oil, a lot of oil underground still, and Russia's main source of income, if I'm correct, is oil. It's mainly oil, and so if you strike Russia where it hurts and you destroy their oil and their oil refinery facilities, then Russia will have a major setback because, of course, everything is powered by their oil. Their cities, their tanks, their cars, their helicopters, their jets, their submarines, their boats, their ships, their trains. Everything is powered. Everything is fueled by their oil. Without their oil, without their gasoline and their diesel, they can do nothing. They're basically going to be completely shut down without their oil. Now destroying all their oil facilities would be the pipe destroying all the pipelines and the refineries and all the big oil tank depots and all that would be very difficult. But you could take down quite a few of them with just a couple of IHE drones. It wouldn't be too hard to do, I think. And then the most extreme, the most perhaps unethical option, and this is what I call option zero, the final option, If Ukraine were nearly completely overtaken by Russia and there was almost no other option left, I came up with a interesting solution to stopping Russia, granting Ukraine ultimate victory and forcing Russian troops out of Ukraine with absolutely no hope of coming back into Ukraine without imminent death. And this final option, and this is the most risky one, the most extreme one, would be intentionally causing a nuclear meltdown. Now, I've studied Ukraine a bit and the nuclear power plants, and I've learned that your VVER um, um, reactors use uranium, which is good. I don't know which type, but basically you can melt down. You have 15 nuclear reactors in your country, in Ukraine. And if you melt down even a single one of these nuclear reactors, as long as you blow the lid off of these reactors, because if you look at the images here, they're very well protected, very secure. If you destroy the concrete and steel that protects the reactors, and you forcibly melt down the reactors, then you can pretty much assuredly defeat the Russian army that's invading. Russia will have no choice but to secede from Ukraine. Now, even causing a single one of these reactors to undergo, if you cause even one meltdown using a single reactor, it would be enough. It would cause so much pollution. It would cause such a massive amount of radiation leakage that it would basically make almost all of Ukraine uninhabitable. If you let the meltdown continue constantly, nonstop, basically it would contaminate all of Ukraine and contaminate a lot of Europe, as well as contaminate a small part of western Russia. Putin might even have to evacuate Moscow because of the nuclear, all the radiation. But I think this would be the best option if you knew you were going to lose Ukraine, the Russians were surrounding you, and there was no way out, and there was no way to fight them and win. I think the best option would be causing a nuclear meltdown. And, this, of course, would mean that you couldn't inhabit Ukraine, but Russia couldn't take Ukraine. They couldn't have it. Nobody could, not even, Ukrainians. But this would be a good lesson for Russia. Now creating a controlled nuclear meltdown, being able to stop it, or slow it down in a certain way to where maybe it couldn't contaminate all of Ukraine, but it would keep Russia away. That would be very risky, very hard to do. At least based off of what the AI has told me. I'd agree with that. It would have to be a very substantial, amount of nuclear radiation that would have to come out of it to get Russia to back off. And I mean, once it gets bad enough, I don't even know if somebody could survive being in that area and be able to shut it down. They'd have to shut it down manually. You probably couldn't even use electronics to do so because the radiation would get so bad at a certain point. So I mean, there's a lot of risks there, but I think that would be option zero, the final option, the last option, and the best one to defeat Russia. Probably second to destroying the oil refineries and the oil pipelines, but yeah, because I was studying the history on Chernobyl, and I was also looking at the war going on, And that's when I had the idea. What if there was a second nuclear meltdown? What would Russia do? What would Ukraine do? And I think that would be the best way to ensure that Russia does not take Ukraine. Um, and it could be a controlled meltdown to where maybe only half of Ukraine is uninhabitable. But you would keep Russia out of there. That Russia would stay out of there, I think, if you intentionally caused a nuclear meltdown. Um, but I would probably not make that publicly known because that could have big ramifications, unfortunately. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think about my ideas in the comment section down below. I spent a good amount of time, several hours, looking into all of this. And there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information I have to condense to make these videos short. So I put a lot of time into these. So definitely subscribe if you don't mind. And check out my other videos. I make videos on all sorts of different topics, from science to history to politics to neurology to psychology, paleontology, archaeology, zoology, biology, chemistry, biochemistry, physics, quantum mechanics, and so on and on and on. I make a wide variety of different types of videos, so many different subjects. I'm sure there's a video out there that I've made that would be suited for everybody. So, or not everybody, but I'm sure there's like everybody in the world could find a video of mine that they might like. So I make a wide variety of different videos. So yeah. Anyway, see you in the next one.